You know, in a world that is just flooded with life hacks and quick fixes, there's this one book from decades ago that still stands tall. Why is that? Well, it's because Stephen Covey's 7 Habits isn't just a list of tips. It's a deep dive, a total transformation that starts from the inside. So, let's get into this incredible blueprint for a more effective life. Right off the bat, Covey hits us with this massive idea. He's not really interested in just tweaking your behavior. Nope. He's talking about what he calls paradigm shifts. Basically, it's changing the entire lens through which you see yourself and the world around you. And honestly, this is the key to understanding everything else we're about to cover. So Covey draws this really important line in the sand. For the last century or so, we've been sold what he calls the personality ethic. It's all about your image, your charm, those quick fix techniques to get people to like you. But Covey says that's all superficial. Real, lasting success, that comes from the character ethic, building your life on a solid foundation of principles that don't change, things like integrity, courage, and responsibility.
And this whole process follows a pretty clear path, what Covey calls the maturity continuum. We all start out at dependence, right? Relying on others. Then we grow into independence, where we can take care of ourselves and master our own lives. But that's not the end goal. The highest level is interdependence, where we choose to work together to achieve things we could never, ever do alone.
Okay, so before you can even think about working effectively with other people, you have to win the battle inside yourself first. That's what this first section is all about. These first 3 habits are the foundation for achieving what Covey calls a private victory and making that jump from dependence to independence. So let's start with the bedrock, the absolute foundation of all the other habits. Be proactive. Now, this is so much more than just taking initiative. It's about this profound idea that between what happens to you and your reaction to it, there's a space. And in that space is your freedom and your power to choose your response. You are the driver of your life, not just a passenger getting taken for a ride. And you can literally hear the difference in the way people talk. Just listen to your own language for a day. Reactive people blame everything outside themselves. He made me so mad. Proactive people, on the other hand, they own their inner world. I choose how I'm going to respond. Your words are a dead giveaway for your mindset. This is such a powerful tool from Covey. Picture 2 circles. The big one on the outside is your circle of concern. It's filled with all the stuff you worry about but can't really control. Politics, the economy, what other people do. Reactive people waste a ton of energy here. But that smaller circle inside, that's your circle of influence. It's got everything you can control. Your actions, your attitude, your habits. Proactive people focus all their energy right there. And here's the cool part. The more you work in your circle of influence, the bigger it gets. All right, so once you realize you're in the driver's seat, you need a destination, right? That's habit 2. It's all about having a vision for your life. I mean, think about it. So many people work incredibly hard. They're climbing that ladder of success as fast as they can, only to get to the very top and realize their ladder was leaning against the completely wrong wall. So how do you make sure your ladder's on the right wall? The practical tool here is to create a personal mission statement. Don't let the name intimidate you. Think of it as your own personal constitution. It's where you write down who you want to be and the principles you want to live by. It becomes your North Star, the filter you use to make every important decision. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. Habit 1 says you're the creator of your life. Habit 2 is the mental creation, that's the blueprint. Well, habit 3 is the physical creation. It's the habit of disciplined execution, of actually doing what matters most, day in and day out, to make that mission a reality. And this time management matrix is probably one of Covey's most famous tools. It's a game changer. Look at the 4 quadrants. Most of us get stuck in quadrant I, constantly putting out fires and dealing with crises. And we get distracted by quadrant 3, all those interruptions that feel urgent but really aren't important. But the secret, the real heart of effectiveness, is in quadrant 2. This is the stuff that's super important but not yet urgent. Things like planning, prevention, building relationships. The more time you spend in quadrant 2, the smaller quadrant I gets. It's the difference between managing crises and preventing them in the first place. Okay, so once you've achieved that private victory, that self-mastery from the first 3 habits, you're ready to move on to the next level, public victory. This is where we shift our focus from I to we and really learn how to build powerful, effective relationships with other people. Habit 4, think win-win, goes against everything so many of us are taught, that life is a competition, a zero-sum game. It's the idea that for me to win, you have to lose. Win-win says no way. It comes from a mindset of abundance, the belief that there's plenty of success to go around. It's not about my way or your way. It's about working together to find a better way. And what's the currency of a win-win relationship? It's trust. Covey uses this great metaphor of an emotional bank account. Every time you're kind, every time you keep a promise, you're making a deposit. You build up this high trust reserve that makes real collaboration, real win-win solutions actually possible. So before we jump into the next habit, I want you to ask yourself this question and be really honest. When you're in a conversation, are you listening to understand what the other person is saying? Or are you just waiting for your turn to talk, already formulating your reply in your head? This next habit, this might be the most powerful communication skill you will ever learn. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Think about it. What would you say if your doctor wrote you a prescription without even diagnosing what's wrong? You'd think they were crazy. But we do that all the time in our relationships. We jump in with solutions and advice before we've taken the time to truly understand the other person's perspective. When you practice empathic listening, really listening with the goal of understanding, you lower defenses, you build that emotional bank account, and you open the door to real solution. So when you've got that foundation of trust from habit 4 and that deep commitment to understanding from habit 5, that's when you unlock the magic of habit 6, synergy. And this isn't just about teamwork, it's about creative cooperation. It's the idea that 1 + 1 can equal 3 or 10 or even 100. When you genuinely value and respect the differences in people, you can create new, better solutions that nobody would have ever thought of on their own. So, you've mastered yourself, you're building incredible relationships, awesome. But how do you keep it all going? How do you sustain it for the long haul? Well, that brings us to our final habit, the one that's like the engine that powers this entire system and keeps you from burning out. And that is habit 7, sharpen the saw. Covey tells this great story about a guy who's been sawing a tree for hours. He's exhausted, he's not making any progress. Someone comes along and says, "Hey, why don't you stop for a minute and sharpen your saw?" And the guy replies, "I can't, I'm too busy sawing." That's us. We are the saw. This habit is all about taking the time to renew ourselves in these 4 key areas. It's not a luxury, it's the personal investment that makes all the other 6 habits even possible. And this really brings it all home. This whole system, at its core, isn't about little tips or techniques. It's about principles. And principles, as Covey says, are like lighthouses. They don't move. They're natural laws that you can't break, you can't fake your way to trust or find a shortcut to integrity. The 7 habits are really just a framework for aligning our lives with these powerful, timeless truths. And so we're left with one last big question to think about, one that takes us all the way back to habit 2. Take a second and really think about your life, your job, your goals, everything. Are you just busy climbing day after day? Or have you stopped to make sure that your ladder is leaning against the right wall?